What is good, BM gang? It is your girl Felon Favors. Welcome back to the Baby Mama Chronicles, where we discuss everything love, light, and relationship. Today, we're going to talk about something that I feel like is long overdue: how to apologize to your baby daddy. Now, this is loaded, okay? Because I know in general, women, I know we struggle with the whole accountability thing. And anybody that's been a avid watcher and listener on my channel knows that we are pushing female accountability to the highest levels, and I feel like it is the ultimate precipice of our growth and development and evolution. So sometimes apologizing and being able to say, I was wrong, I could have handled this better, I could have gone about this in a different way. Sometimes that's hard to be able to eat, and a lot of times women are not really held to the standard of being accountable for their actions. From when we were young, a lot of us get written off as, oh, she's just emotional, she's on her cycle right now, she's this, she's that. We get passes a lot for our emotional outbursts and things like that. When as you become an adult, a woman, raising children and trying to lead a family, you have to be able to hold your own, and you have to be able to also say, you know what, I messed up. And you need to be held accountable and be able to hold yourself accountable for when you're in the wrong. So when it comes to you and your baby daddy, there definitely could have been situations in which you may need or may have needed to apologize for taking it too far, right? So I'm going to give you a list of different things that maybe would fit into the criteria of why you might need to apologize to your baby daddy. One of them being if you had the baby knowing that you and him were not in a relationship at all, or even a healthy, thriving relationship. And then there was a certain amount of pressure put onto him to kind of fit into this role of now supposed to be, this baby daddy of the year, when he's never really exemplified any attributes that would have shown you this is something or someone that he could be, right? But you just put this pressure on him. And, as a result of him not maybe fitting the bill of whatever your ideals are or may have been, he a deadbeat. He don't want to take care of his baby. He needs to get his stuff together. You berated him and made him feel less than, when really, again, he never really gave you any signs or indications that that's who he was going to be in a parent, child or, baby daddy, baby mama dynamic. So that's one. Another could be if you've down talked or bad mouthed your baby's father in front of your children. This has a higher bearing, I think, on children that are older. So if they're over the age of 7, when they're actually able to speak, their cognitive skills are developed or developing, and they're able to kind of regurgitate back and kind of store information and memory based on what it is that they intake and that, what they hear. So if you're someone who has, down talked and degraded the father of your child in the presence of your children, that definitely could be something that you need to apologize and be accountable for. If you have been that crazy baby mama, okay, where you still emotionally invested and emotionally involved, baby, I got so many videos telling you how to be able to circumvent being that girl and, getting just through the process of your emotions and having a baby. I understand that all of those things can be warranted, and I know where that comes from, so it's no judgment, but I have videos that will show you how to be able to deal with that. I'll leave them in one of these corners so that way you can kind of tap in and get yourself together. But if you've been that girl, you done popped up on your baby daddy, maybe he got a whole new girlfriend, whole new situation, or maybe he just not effing with you, and you take it upon yourself to be popping up, baby in the backseat, we know how that go. You may need to send a sincere apology. This could definitely be a great video for you. If you've put your child's father on child support. Now, I have a video coming for this, right? We're going to get into that later. I'm not going to touch this and tap into this now, but there are certain instances and situations that I feel are more warranted than others for child support cases and child support court needing to go through the courts to be able to mediate, the visitations and financial obligations for your child. But if you know that this was a retaliatory act, and you went into the situation of trying to put your baby daddy, on child support out of spite, you definitely need to be watching this video. And of course, there are, numerous other reasons why, you may need to apologize to your baby's father, but those are just some off of the top of my head. But in your heart, ladies, if you have carried on in a way that doesn't really reflect who you really genuinely are in your heart of hearts, right? You have maybe allowed your emotions and the baggage of being a baby mama or whatever you may be dealing with, even outside of even being a mother. You know, you've allowed that to dictate how you act and behave in relation to your baby daddy, because you know you have this power over him and you're kind of abusing that power and treating him poorly, or maybe, you know, just taking advantage in all different kind of ways, right? Because you know you have that support. And just on a world level, typically, you know, the mother is the one that is the person that is considered and thought of and, you know, held up to a very high standard. So you have the support and kind of like knowing all of that, but at the same time still, you know, treating your baby daddy poorly when it's not warranted. You know, you have to be accountable for that. So once you've gotten down to the nitty gritty of, okay, I know I may have done some things, said some things to my baby's father that may have been out of pocket. I need to atone for my sins in this situation. What can I do? This is what you're gonna do. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna write out what led you to get to the point of doing said thing. Everyone is not a journaler. I understand that. You know, everyone is not a writer or a woman of words, right? Most women, we do have better communication skills on average than, you know, a man. And so, you know, it's easy for us to be able to tap into our emotional well and be able to verbalize exactly what it is that we feel. Sometimes for some of us, though, it may not be as easy just based on environmental factors, you know, just characteristics of our own personalities or whatever. So I feel like it's always safer to be able to do that when you can write it down, when you can write it out. There's nobody watching you. This is something that you can write essentially and burn at the end if you don't want anybody to see it, if you're too embarrassed by whatever may be included in this text. And sometimes it's easier just to kind of have the thought in mind of centered around what it is that you're looking to kind of get on the paper, which is, okay, what did I do to my baby daddy that I know was probably not right? You want to be able to just to start writing and not stop. Let it flow. Let everything just come out, and you'll be very surprised as to what may surface on this page. There may be revelations there. There may be things that are included in this text that you find are not even related to your baby daddy, which in hindsight, or, you know, just thinking about it out loud, you know, a lot of the times when we behave badly with people, a lot of times it don't have nothing to do directly with that person. There are layered nuances as to why we end up getting to a certain point of hostility, anger, and a lot of negative emotions and negative feelings and negative actions. So get all of those things out on paper and just see what comes up. You want to kind of get to the epicenter of why you did or said what you did or said what you said, because you can always apologize, but if it's not premised on anything, if you don't have any basis as to, you know, why you did what you did, it's gonna be hard for somebody to accept that apology. And although you are apologizing, you don't necessarily have to have the acceptance of the person you're apologizing to. In this instance, because this is somebody that you have a lifelong journey left to live with, to raise your child, it may be to your advantage for them to at least be able to see into why you did what you did or said what you said. So get it all on paper. That's number one. And number two, once you have that on paper, what you want to look at is, okay, I have my why as to maybe why I did this thing, why I said this thing, right? You want to start thinking about, okay, am I still behaving in the manner that I did back then, or have I changed? Have I had any strides or made any strides in my relationship with my baby's father that would indicate I'm at least attempting to level up, evolve, be a better person, get away from that person that I was, right? Have I at least made some kind of attempts to make right these wrongs? Or have I still been on BS? Have I still been, you know, triggering, oh shoot, I'm spitting this, excuse me. Have I been triggering my baby's father, pressing buttons, knowing that I'm going to get a rise out of him for whatever reason I may want to do that, right? Have I been still playing the game? Am I still psychologically trying to mind F him? Have I tried to turn a new leaf in my behavior and just my self-development as a woman, or am I still on the same BS? These things that I'm asking you ladies to do, these things are going to require you to challenge yourself, right? So there is going to be a certain level of desire that needs to be there for you to want to see things be different within yourself and your environment, right? So I understand that every lady that's watching, or every baby mama that's watching my channel, may not resonate with it because you just may not be ready yet. You may not be there yet. But if you hear you on my page and you've been watching my content, you ready, and you've been ready, and you've been wanting to kind of turn that leaf. So be able to tell yourself the honest truth. You know, have I been putting forth my best effort to become anew and put forth, you know, my best effort? effort. So that's number 2. The third thing that you want to do is you want to figure out, what is the goal I have with making this apology? I would think that it would be to show your baby's father that, hey, I'm human too. A lot of times we are so quick to call our baby daddies to the floor to talk about what they not doing. You're not spending enough time with your child. You're not giving me enough money to help raise the child. You're not as involved as you need to be. You don't call enough. You don't provide enough. And a lot of times we, as the woman, because we carry the child for 9 months, we are with the child typically 24/7, depending on your visitation arrangements. And, you know, a lot of the times we feel like, okay, well, we reign supreme in the realm of parenthood just because we're the mother. And that's not always the case. A lot of times fathers don't have a due advantage, or they don't have the opportunity or the space to be able to prove otherwise, because the baby is always with you. Showing the humanistic qualities of who you are as a woman makes you way more relatable to anybody, another man or another woman. And you letting your baby's father know, hey, I'm not perfect. I understand that you're not perfect. I understand that there may have been situations where I pushed that on you or tried to hold you to a certain standard or expectation because of my own things I have going on in my mind, body, heart, soul, whatever. I'm sorting through those things. But being able to show him that, hey, I'm human too, and I make mistakes and I apologize for that. You know, I think that should be the intention, along with just wanting to try to create the best environment. The ultimate goal is to be able to create the best environment for your child to thrive. Your child will pick up on any negative energies that exist between you and your baby's father. Even as little as 2, you know, I feel like really the younger the child, the more perceptive and intuitive. And then as they get older, it becomes, you know, more about the environmental factors and being able just to observe and visually see, like, hey, mom and dad don't really speak to each other. Mom and dad be on the fake stuff when they're around each other. Kids pick up on those things, right? So you want to try to create and cultivate the best possible environment for your child to thrive. So those, I would think, should be the reasons why you would want to make this apology to your baby daddy. Okay, and at the very tail end of this, because we about to wrap this up, at the very tail end of making the apology to your baby daddy is the how. Okay, we've already kind of figured out the where, the why, the who, all of those things. How are we going to execute this? So I think that this can happen in 2 ways. One of which would be texting. Right? Thank God for texting, child. Okay. Depending on how far you've gone with your baby daddy, as far as just being out of pocket, you know, you done showed your ass one too many times, you know, it don't even have to be the super extra out popping up on him, but just bad energy, bad vibes, negative things, vindictive behavior. If you know you've kind of gone a little bit over the line or a lot over the line, you may be better suited to just send a text message. That way, what you're dropping on your baby daddy won't be so much for him to digest all at one time, right? And it also won't throw you off in the fact that you may not get the reception that you maybe are looking for, right? You kind of relinquish the control of whatever's going to happen after you give him this information, and the intention is there for whatever it is that you want from it, and you let God handle the rest. So you can send a text and say all of the things that you want to say, make it as long as you want to. I'm a fan of long text messages. I am a communicator, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but you want to be concise, and you want to be, you know, not too wordy, and you want to kind of say exactly what it is. Hey, I'm apologizing to you for this reason. This is what I feel like I did wrong. This is what I'm doing to correct that. Please, you know, take into account that, you know, whatever. And I'm hoping that this will allow us to move forward in a more positive direction, right? Boom, leave it at that. Then you have the other option to talk to him face to face, right? Now, this is a gamble. And again, I would not advise this for baby mamas and baby daddies that don't have that amicable relationship. These are for baby mamas and baby daddies that are still somewhat co-parenting, kind of healthy, but there may just be some kind of, you know, stuff that's in between that may not allow you guys to be able to speak to each other wholeheartedly, open and from the heart. If you guys both have respect for one another, if you have respect for yourselves, if you know you are a healthy communicator and you can communicate without getting rah-rah and all of that, and vice versa with your baby daddy, if you know that you guys can sit down and have a conversation, sit down and have the conversation. I always am very sensitive to if the baby daddy has another partner, which some of y'all I know don't care. I don't care about his other. But if he's in another relationship, maybe has other kids, if he's married, whatever, I'm always a proponent of being respectful, because you will want somebody to have that respect for you. You may not be in that seat right now. Maybe you single, maybe you don't have a man, maybe you don't have other children built out in another new relationship. But when you get to that point, you would want somebody to handle you with that same level of care. So if that person does have a partner, make sure if you're meeting with them, maybe ask them, you know, setting it up, would your partner be okay with this? Can you run this by them to see if it's okay? Maybe I could stop by the house, you know, so she could lay eyes on me and we could talk in another room. She can watch the baby while we have a conversation. Make it a familial family thing so it don't seem shady. Now, if it is really shady and you hoping to make this apology because you looking to get him back, watch one of my other videos. It's not this video, okay? You want your baby daddy back? We're not doing that in this video. Go watch another video. If that's not the case, just meet somewhere neutral, a park, a coffee shop, somewhere where you guys can talk in the daytime and really get to get out exactly what it is that you need to say. And you will be very surprised how receptive men are to that, because men are not expecting you to be accountable. Men are never really expecting women to be accountable. It's one of the main complaints I hear in the realm of just, you know, talking about dating and relationships with other men, is that, you know, they don't feel like we're even capable of being accountable. So showing him that you have that propensity to be able to tap into that side of yourself is going to really impress him. And you being the mother of his child is really going to say a lot about how he feels about you, how he respects you. And, you know, it's definitely going to help to set you apart and help to kind of set you guys on track to having a more positive relationship. So sit down, have the conversation, put your big girl panties on, have a sip of wine in a car or something like that. No judgment. Whatever you need to do, smoke some, little edible, I don't know. Get your mind right. So that way when you speak to him, it's coming from the heart. At the end of the day, just make sure that it's coming from the heart and that you're being as real as possible as to what it is that you are apologizing for, why you're doing it, and what you're hoping for in the future as a result of you making this apology. Okay, you guys, so I just wanted to come with something very briefly, okay? Just to give you some tips on how to say sorry, my bad, I may have played that wrong. You know, we need to do more of that. And I'm telling you, it releases so much energy away from you and off of you being able to own your own stuff. No one can hold it against you. No one can say you did something wrong or whatever, because you've already owned it and you've already atoned for what it is that you've done. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share all of that good stuff. I want to make sure you guys stay tapped in whenever I drop any new content. Yes, it has been a minute. I've been gone for a minute, but I'm back with the jump up. That may have been corny. It's okay, but you know, and did and said that, and so what? I love you guys though. Make sure you do that and stay tuned, because you know I will be dropping more and more content as the year progresses on. But I love you guys. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, see you next time.